Hi bass family, and welcome to Everything Bass. I did a video recently called How to Palm Mute the Bass, and I asked in it if you guys would like me to give you some sample grooves so you can see how the technique can be used in a more musical fashion. And the response was overwhelmingly positive, so here we go. So this is the first video in the Palm Mute Groove 1, and I actually was playing the groove at the intro, and that's because of another suggestion. So I love these things. Please, I want these to be as good and as valuable as you could be, these videos, and so any suggestions you have would be very helpful for me. So one suggestion was to always, whenever there's a groove or an exercise or anything, to start with it, so you have a frame of reference. Then when I break it down, it makes more sense, and I should have thought of that in the first place. So thank you, it was great. So I'm not going to go over the mechanics of muting, because I think that's, if you've watched the How to Palm Mute the Bass, you'll have the mechanics down. So I'm going to get right into the groove. Now, this groove is a progression that goes from an A dominant 7th chord for 4 measures to a G7 chord or G dominant 7th chord for 2 measures, and then back to the A7 for 2 measures. It's an 8-bar progression. One thing you'll realize right away is the foundational groove. Every measure starts with you playing on beat 1 and beat 2, and then on the last 16th note of beat 2, you play another note. And the first 2 notes we play on beat 1 and 2 is the A root, the A octave. So if you're tapping your foot to the music, the first 2 times your feet hit the ground, you're going to play boom, boom, so boom, boom, like that. Now, because we're going to do a little 16th note add-on to beat 2, the very last 16th note, we do a minor 7, which is the 5th fret on the D string. It's a G. So that's going to sound like this, like that. If you can get that feel down, you'll have most of the groove down, because even when it goes to G, it's the same beginning of every measure. So if you can get that down, I think you're going to find everything falls in place. So let's complete measure 1. And I should mention that measure 1 is the same as measure 3. So once you get it down, you got 2 measures of the groove under your thumbs. Here we go. So we're going to start with 1, and then the last 2 16th notes of beat 4, we're going to pluck the 5th fret D, hammer on to the 7th fret E, and that's kind of a pickup or a lead into the next measure. So measure 1 completely sounds like this. Like that. So let's see how it goes into measure 2. Measure 2 starts the same way. But I want to, instead of doing the hammer on, I want to walk back up to the A. So I do a G string muted pop or pluck. I use the index finger. I'm really muting it, so it's just a click. That's kind of ugly sounding. Just like that, just a click. And I walk from the 2nd fret F sharp to the 3rd fret G to the 4th fret G sharp to get back to the A. And that goes like that. So let me play measure 2 for you. Like that. As I said before, measure 3 is the same as measure 1. So we walk back up, play measure 1 again in all intent and purposes. But then the last measure of A, we're going to find a way to transition and make the G seem like we're connecting to the G. So we start the last measure of the A, the 4th measure of A7. We start the same way. We do a similar G string click, like that, and we go E, F sharp, G, and go to, A, and then go to G. That's called trapping, and it's a form of trapping. There's a couple different ways, but this one, you'll notice I play E, F sharp. Now G is my note, but I have one more 8th note to go to before the downbeat. So I go past the note I want to the A, I trap it. I have on one side of it, on the other side of it, and then I go to it. And that's really sonically pleasing, and it really leads the ear to that G. It sounds like this. Like that. So let me play the first 4 measures and see what you guys think. All right, so now we're in the G. The first measure of G7, same as the A7, just 2 frets lower. Same hammer on, like that. Now I want to get back to the A, but I want to trap again. So I'm going to do this kind of syncopated walk up, and it's just a 2-fret walk up where I just play the click, and I play a G to a G sharp, and then I'm back to the A. So like that. Let me put it in context. I'm back into A7, first measure. Now I keep saying first measure because you'll look that measures 1, measures 3, and measures 7 are all the same measure. You're playing that same root, octave 7, then the hammer on from the perfect fourth to the perfect fifth. The last measure, I'm going to start the same way. Then right after I play that G, I'm going to lift my palm mute, lay my pinky across the 5th fret of the D and the G string lightly, and use both fingers to get a harmonic, which happens to go really well with the groove. So it would sound like this. Like that. I just think it adds a little variety. I like to balance out. So if I'm giving the listener a lot of one thing, I like to throw in occasionally a little something opposite to really balance the groove, maybe give their ear a little something new so they don't kind of just get into this meditative stance and you lose them a little bit. So even something like a harmonic can do that in a groove like this. So let me put it all together slowly so you can hear everything. All right, here we go. Let me know what you think of the groove. If whenever I'm showing you a pattern, a groove, an exercise, I know our instinct is to dive right in and try to do it all. But if you could take a little bit of patience, or have a little patience, and just take the first part of each measure and get that down. You could even cut off the second half of each measure and just play the whole progression this way, and it would sound like this. Then go to the G twice, back to the A. If you get that down, then adding the little ornaments and the little transition pieces makes it a lot easier and hopefully won't seem overwhelming at all. If you are seeing this video first and you're struggling with the mutes, then I do encourage you, please go back and check out how to palm mute the bass. It's on my channel. You can search for how to palm mute the bass. And that'll give you like some suggestions on getting a good sound and how to make adjustments to control how much muting there is, how much sustaining you allow or don't allow, if the case may be. Yeah, so there you have it. In this case, I also want to, instead of an encore item, I want to kind of highlight the how thankful I am for these suggestions you guys have been giving me. It's great. I really appreciate the 60 cycle hums. Now, if you remember, that was kind of just a name I gave the you guys emailing me or commenting below with suggestions, questions, videos you'd like me to shoot, suggestions for a top 10 list of something, whatever it might be. If you could, even in the comments below, write down 60 cycle hum suggestion or 60 cycle hum dash, and then whatever it is, it helps me kind of see it and focus on it. Definitely if you email me at dtitus@daletitus.com, then also I believe that would be very helpful to put that in the topic or the subject line of every email. Because I do get quite a few emails, but I really look for 60 cycle hums to make sure that I address them right away because I think they're important. I think you need to be heard. And I want these videos to be specific to you and helpful for you. Okay, so there you have it. Palm Mute Groove 1. And just a reminder to please send in your suggestions or comment below the suggestions because that's how I can really plan these videos out. And I think some of my best videos have come directly from your suggestions, which I thank you for. Okay, well, then you know the drill. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, I would appreciate it. I'm getting so close to the 1,000 mark, and you guys have answered the call every time I put it out there, so I do appreciate it. So if you're new to the channel and you think these video lessons will help you, please hit the subscribe button, and right next to it there's a little bell icon. If you tap that, it'll let you know every time I upload videos, which is usually on the weekends. 5 to 6 videos on the weekends. So I hopefully won't blow up your notifications, but it will let you know when I'm doing things. All right, well, there you have it, guys. And like, share, subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want the chart, you can get it by going to my Patreon account, which is in the description below, and becoming a Backstage Pass subscribing member. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the next video. And that's my cat. Anything else?